Now, Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang joins me live from the capital, Jos. Good to have you on Newsnight, Mr. Governor. First, let me get your impressions about the visit of the Chief of Army Staff, Olufemi Oluyede, to Plateau State there. How reassuring is his visit? And have you had, face-to-face meeting with him yet?
Yeah, thank you, Ngozi. Good evening, Nigerians. Let me appreciate Nigerians for the demonstration of love they've shown us since this incident began. We have received a lot of calls from Nigerians from all sections of life, commiserating with us and expressing concerns on how to bring this situation to an end. We are reassured by the visit of the Chief of Army Staff. And let me also put it on record that Mr. President also called in, the Inspector General of Police also called in, the Director of the State Security Service also called in. And we're glad for this attention that has been drawn from the federal forces. I've had interactions with the Chief of Army Staff this evening, and we have reviewed a lot of things and looked at how to re-strategize in order to bring this ugly incident to an end. But on the whole, I would say that I'm reassured that the federal government is very much interested in Plateau State, in the people of Plateau State. And all along, Mr. President had supported us to achieve the peace we had attained before this breach occurred. So let me thank the Chief of Army Staff and his colleagues.
Right. In the wake of the April 2 attacks in Bokkos and, of course, following Houthi and other places in Plateau State, you actually said you promised to take decisive action, to ensure that, Plateau State returns to normalcy. Do you have any plans in place to end this security threats or attacks in Plateau State? And what would be your response to the Chief of Army Staff when he says, look, there's a need for a political solution to these issues? Do you think it's a political, issue here? What are the underlying factors that are leading to these threats?
Thank you, Ngozi. I wish I knew. What I know is that two Wednesdays back, the first community that was attacked was observing a wake keep, and suddenly unknown gunmen showed up and opened fire on them.
Well, I asked you earlier if you thought it was a political situation that's giving, fueling this crisis, this attacks in Plateau State. Like you said, you're not too sure of what the underlying factors are. But some are saying, look, it's not a farmer-herder situation in Plateau State. It's actually genocide. And that's one word that, one has to use advisedly in this climes. I mean, what exactly are your thoughts in terms of what is fueling this crisis in Plateau State from where you stand?
Well, I would say it unapologetically, what happened in the last 2 weeks in Bokkos is genocide. I say it unreservedly. No one has given me any reason to believe that what happened was politically motivated. And if there is any such suggestion, I'll be glad to receive the evidence of such, because these were unprovoked attacks on innocent people, vulnerable people. And there has been a pattern, Ngozi, over the years that we discovered that the onset of the farming season, these attacks normally come in. And then there's a respite when people manage to go to the farm and farm the little farmlands that remain. And then when the harvest is about to come in, there's another wave of attacks. So it suggests to us that this is a well-coordinated plan to keep the people in those areas in perpetual poverty. It is possible that there could have been tensions in the past between communities, but I've challenged anyone to tell me who the feuding communities are. If we knew any community feuding with another community, we'll be able to step in and bring in a reconciliation process. But at the moment, you are dealing with attackers that are faceless. And so you just leave it to the fact that this is ill-motivated and is aimed at driving the people out of their lands. And because we have had situations where these things has happened before, and when people are driven out of their lands for 3 to 5 years, there's an occupation. And so that leaves us with the suggestion, with the understanding that this is about land grabbing. I've had people dispute that land grabbing is the motive, but we are yet to find evidence to the contrary. These communities have lived in peace with other ethnic nationalities, with other people of religious persuasions. The interesting thing you will know on the plateau is that many families are interreligious. And so religion is not so much the issue. I think that here we are dealing with some powerful forces who mobilize these faceless people and come and unleash it on these natives. And at the end of the day, the natives are left defenseless because they never envisaged that this kind of attack will happen.
Mr. Governor, do you feel overwhelmed with this, persistent attacks on the plateau, like you've said? I mean, what plans do you have in place? Are you going to put together, some kind of vigilante security apparatus? What exactly will you do? Because it looks like, since you don't have any security apparatus under your control.
Yeah, overwhelmed is not the word. I cannot be overwhelmed. If there is anything, I'm propelled to dig in and look for solutions. What can we do better than we have been doing before? How can we mobilize the existing assets, deploy them more strategically, and any other suggestion? We are open to suggestions on possible causes and what solutions we can deploy. But I can tell you that more than ever before, myself, the people of Bokkos and Plateau State are more determined than ever that we are not going to succumb to this attack. We are not going to be defeated. We are not going to be. We are frustrated, but we are not going to let this go. And we are hoping that the federal government will continue to collaborate with us, cooperate with us, to bring the perpetrators to book. Like the Chief of Army Staff confirmed, a few arrests have been made. They are making useful disclosures to the security agencies. We'll take it up from there. For once, we are determined that people who are found to be guilty will be prosecuted. And we want to ensure that external forces are not allowed to interfere in this matter. I've listened to comments from various interest groups, some sounding as if they know the people behind it. We're going to be reaching out to them to tell us who the victims are that they know. And let me tell you, I've operated on the basis of fairness, equity, and inclusion. And I have not tolerated anybody who has gone into criminality to take life into his hands. Where people have rustled cattle, we've dealt with them. And therefore, we are not going to allow anybody to disrupt the gains we had made over the last 1 year in terms of peace and stability in the state. Every Nigerian was singing the praises of Plateau that peace had returned. And this breach is a setback to us. We will recover from it and we will push forward.
Do you have any plans in place for compensation? Because there's that talk going on that there should be compensation for the victims of this, attacks. Are you looking at the federal government, to compensate, or do you have any contingency plans to compensate people? At least those who've been affected.
Yes, thank you, Ngozi. We couldn't have had contingency plans because we didn't research this. But one thing I can tell you, that every day, anytime, we're always on the lookout to how to make life better for our people. And therefore, at the moment, we've turned our attention to easing the difficulty that the people who have been dislodged are going through. We want to thank NEMA, which has come in to also assist us, and other spirited individuals. We'll continue to look at ways and means, and when we get it's beyond us, we'll also reach out to the federal government, and I'm sure Mr. President is willing at all times to come to our aid.
Very quickly, before I let you go, you talk about external forces. Who do you think they are? And can you give us figures in terms of the death toll presently?
Yeah, we are still collating the actual figures. By Wednesday, God willing, I'm going to offer an official statement regarding this crisis. I will be able to give more accurate figures. At the moment, most of the figures we're hearing are highly speculative, and I would like to appeal to the media to allow us to get to the bottom of it. We will not hide anything. We'll let you know. We would, with names and details of those people. People who allege that there are other victims that ought to be compensated. We'll gladly ask them to come forward with evidence of such people, where we can identify them, the communities in which they live, and then we'll be able to see how best to reach out to them.
I know I said, last question, but another last question. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has been coming down, assuring that the federal government is actively addressing the recent security breaches in Bokkos local government area. How much support are you getting from the NSA?
Yeah, thank you. I've had engagements with the NSA, and we have rubbed minds robustly on how to be able to move forward. Where the NSA is also deploying all the assets at its disposal to try to identify the perpetrators of these dastardly attacks. And I'm sure when the intelligence community it comes together, we'll be able to fish them out. One thing I must say is that there's a high level of proliferation of weapons in the country because our borders are very porous. A lot of people come in with all kinds of ammunition unchecked. This is something we need to have a national conversation on in order to arrest this situation. Because if we don't demobilize those assets in the hands of non-state actors, we'll continue to have these incidences repeatedly. And I'm sure the National Security Advisor will be thinking along those lines.
How would you react to those who are saying, look, the governor of Plateau State is not stepping up, he's not really providing the kind of protection for his citizens as you would expect, and they're saying you should actually resign or step down as governor? How would you respond to that finally tonight?
That is the most preposterous and mischievous assertion. If I was not in charge, Plateau State would not have known peace after the dastardly incidents of December 2023. From that time, our trajectory in terms of peace has been upwardly mobile, and we had been enjoying peace and tranquility. We've hosted many national events in Plateau State. We've hosted a lot of international diplomats. We've hosted a lot of key activities here on the plateau because confidence had begun to return to the state. And while we thank Mr. President and the federal government for all the support they've given us, certainly, if we were not doing our bit here on ground, then things would not have worked well. We will continue to do the best we can. When you're on a journey, accidents do happen, and we look at this as a one-off incident. We'll recover from it, like I said, and then we'll continue our trajectory in the quest for peace and stability on the plateau. We believe that Plateau, named the home of peace and tourism, it's a name that truly identifies who we are, and we'll fight to maintain that identity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Governor Caleb Mutfwang. He's the Governor of Plateau State. Thanks for joining us on Newsnight tonight. And our hearts, of course, are with the people of Plateau State. Moving on now.
Thank you very much.